Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're joining me today, you already know that effective communication is the absolute bedrock of professional success. But we aren't here to just review basic grammar. Treat this as an executive masterclass. We're going to take the 12 English tenses and completely transform them from a confusing web of rules into a highly structured, strategic communication toolkit. By the end of our time together, you're going to know exactly which grammatical tool to deploy to project authority, clarity, and precision in literally every interaction. All right, here's our roadmap for today. First up, present tenses and your current status. Then, past tenses to contextualize history. Third, future tenses for projecting outcomes. And finally, we'll put it all together into the complete toolkit. Let's jump in.
Section 1. Present tenses and establishing your current status.
To completely dominate the present time zone, you've got exactly 4 tools at your disposal. Whether you need to state a permanent corporate fact or describe an ongoing action happening literally right at this very second, one of these 4 present tenses is exactly what you need. Let's start with your absolute foundation, the present simple. Honestly, it's by far the most common verb tense in the entire English language. You use this when you're dealing with facts, habits, and schedules. If you say, he studies every day, or on weekends we play soccer, you're laying down undeniable realities or fixed routines. In a professional setting, this is the tense you rely on to confidently state standard operating procedures and fixed schedules. Now, in stark contrast to permanent facts, we have the present continuous. This one is highly immediate. It's strictly used for actions happening right as we speak. Think of an airplane flying through the sky right now, or right at this exact second, I'm speaking on camera and you're watching this explainer. The action is actively unfolding. Next, we have the present perfect. I know this one trips a lot of people up, but conceptually, it's brilliant. We use the present perfect to explain how an action from the past defines your subject right now. For example, if you say, I have studied English for 3 years, or she has eaten breakfast already, or he has lived there all his life, you're using past actions to establish current experience. It's considered a present tense because you're really answering the question, who is this person today based on what they've done?
Our fourth tool in the present time zone is the present perfect continuous. If you want to emphasize a completely non-stop action, this is your secret weapon. You use this to show an endeavor that started in the past and continues straight into the present moment without a single break. For instance, I have been studying Spanish for 8 years. That means I started 8 years ago, I never stopped, and I'm still at it right now. It emphasizes the sheer dedication and ongoing nature of the action. Like saying, she has been working 2 jobs since February.
Moving right along to Section 2, past tenses and contextualizing history. Just like the present, the past has 4 specific tools, but these are designed to give context to actions that are completely behind us. Let's look at how to neatly organize history. The past simple is straightforward and absolute. It represents an action that started in the past and is strictly 100% finished in the past. If you say, I lived in Chicago when I was a child, it means you lived there then and you definitely don't live there now. Or if someone ate eggs for breakfast, they ate them earlier and they aren't eating them anymore. The action is over, closed, case dismissed.
But what if you need to set the scene? That's where the past continuous comes in. We use it to describe an action that continued over a period of time in the past, but practically speaking, it's primarily a strategic tool to provide background context for another sudden action. Think of the phrase, I was studying when the phone rang. I was studying paints the background picture, giving context to the sudden interruption of the phone ringing. Or, he was running when he caught the ball. It sets the stage perfectly. The past perfect is an incredibly powerful tool for executives because it ensures absolute timeline clarity. It proves that one action happened prior to another past action. For example, Sarah had already left by the time he got home. Both actions are in the past, but the past perfect had already left clarifies the exact sequence of events. She left first. Or, I had already booked the tickets when the concert sold out. You booked them first. It completely removes all ambiguity from your historical reporting. The past perfect continuous operates similarly by giving context, but it describes an action that continued over time and then forcefully stopped at the moment of another action. Picture this ongoing routine. He had been eating pizza every day, eating pizza, until a brand new action, he started a diet, forcefully stopped it. Or, we had been talking about going to France for years and finally decided to go. It perfectly captures the build-up to a decisive historical moment. All right, Section 3, future tenses and projecting outcomes.
Unsurprisingly, we have 4 forward-looking tenses. These are the frameworks that allow you to confidently articulate your plans, commitments, and expected durations to your colleagues and clients. First up is the future simple, used for actions we believe will happen. Consider the phrases, I will call you tomorrow versus I'm going to call you tomorrow. Both statements carry the exact same temporal meaning, but will is traditionally your formal executive communication style, often shortened to I'll or he'll. Meanwhile, going to or gonna provides a much more casual alternative. Knowing exactly when to deploy the formal versus the casual form is a subtle but truly vital leadership skill. For scheduled, ongoing activities, you'll want the future continuous. This tense accurately plots an action over a future block of time. If you need to block off your calendar, you might say, we will be eating dinner from 6 to 7 p.m., or I'll be running errands all afternoon.
It sets clear boundaries around an action that'll be in progress during a specific window in the future. Now pay close attention to the future perfect. This is your ultimate deadline tool. We use it to demonstrate that an action will be conclusively finished anytime before a given benchmark in the future. For example, she will have moved to a new apartment before the end of the year. We have the deadline, the end of the year, and we know the action will be definitively completed sometime before that line is crossed. He will have finished his homework by the time dinner is ready. It projects certainty and finality ahead of schedule.
Finally, the future perfect continuous. Honestly, native speakers rarely use this tense in daily conversation, but when they do, it serves a highly specific purpose, emphasizing sheer duration. It calculates how long a continuous action will have been happening by a certain future date. For example, calculating that we will have been living in Los Angeles for a decade this December, or she will have been working at the company for 40 years when she retires. It's a fantastic tool for highlighting major milestones and long-term endurance.
And that brings us to Section 4, the Complete Communication Toolkit.
So the crucial point here is that English grammar isn't some chaotic web of exceptions and confusing rules. It's actually a highly organized grid of exactly 12 specific tools, each with a deliberate and strategic purpose. From establishing permanent facts in the present simple, to establishing a firm timeline in the past perfect, to projecting absolute deadline certainty in the future perfect, everything has its proper place.
Now that you hold the complete, organized toolkit, it's entirely up to you how you use it. When you speak with precision, you project authority. I'm challenging you. Apply this structured clarity to your professional communication starting today. How will deploying these exact, deliberate tenses change the way you're perceived in your next major meeting or negotiation? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really look forward to exploring our next topic with you soon.